Oh, we're recording. All right, guys, I'm here working on the car again today. Did some more of the pulleys and front cover accessory stuff. I went to AutoZone, went through all their balancer install tools, and they don't have anything that works. So I went to Ace Hardware, I bought some stock, and I made a kit. This is an old bushing from a 4-link setup. You probably won't have that, but you could stack some nuts or something. I just put double washers with some grease on it so it has some good slip. This is a 1/2 inch or a 12 millimeter by 1.5 bolt, and this is a 5/8 11 stock. So I just welded that together. That way it screws in to the inside, to the actual crank. And then you have your nut here to push the balancer on. It actually worked out really well. So if you're ever in a bind and nobody has a tool and you don't want to wait a week to order the correct tool, this cost me like, I don't know, 13 bucks to make, and it worked really good. The car on the lift, the wheels are off. I got to drop the subframe back out. I'll position the motor on the subframe, get it roughly in position, and that way I can lower the car back down on it and bolt this thing in. Real quick here, if you got this MMR head cooling mod, you have to put the crank sensor in first because it doesn't fit, or you have to keep the crank sensor in the back cover here. So I had to take this back off, not a big deal. I put silicone grease on it so it slides in and out nice. Now I can get it in, but just heads up for you guys putting an engine together, if you don't want to take the extra 15 minutes to do it, just make sure you get this crank sensor in first. So here I put the backing plate and the blow shield on just to make sure it fits between the headers. Now that I know that the blow shield fits, I'll put the flywheel back on, and we'll torque that up with some Uggy Duggies. Next will be the clutch. Make sure to use your alignment tool and tighten it up in a star pattern. Then we'll put the bell housing on for the last time and move the engine to get underneath the car. So if you didn't notice, I put the starter in before I even put the bell housing on, because it's really hard to get it through here. It pretty much takes like a contortionist to get that thing in there. You got to put it in 6 different ways until it eventually wants to work out for you. So I slid it in through here before I put the bell housing on. Bell housing's all on and torqued up, and so we'll just go up, get the K-member in, and we'll be able to bolt all the suspension back in and put the transmission up, and we'll be cruising at that point. Now that we got the engine in the car, we'll lift it back up and get everything situated underneath. I'll jack the engine all the way up and then get all the bolts in there and tight. Now we'll get the transmission up and in. And then after about an hour of fighting it, we'll get the drive shaft in. Successful day here. K member's in, engine's all in, transmissions 2 bolted up, she's in. All the heavy stuff's in the car, so I got a lot of work still left, but all the real hard alignment stuff is done. So pretty dope. Well, once again here, we're having clutch fork issues, right here, that guy. So it's pressed up against the bell housing, the transmission real hard, and there's no play. So I gotta figure out again why I can't put a dual disc clutch in this thing and figure out what I can do to clearance it, because this just kind of sucks and the transmission's not easy to get in and out. So I gotta figure out how to fix it and not have to do this ever again. I might just cut the fork in half and weld a plate steel to it so it's thinner. But we'll get to that point when we get there. I gotta get this transmission out now. I have the new Mcleod Clutch fork, which I'm pretty sure just factory geometry. I cut about a 1/4 inch off of this, about 4 inches long on each side to clear the bracing on the front of the transmission, and it looks like it should go together correctly now. All right, so everything's pretty wrapped up on the engine. There's no cooling system in it right now because I gotta mock up the radiator and everything to fit, but we're really close and I'm impatient, so I just want to start this thing. I don't know if you're gonna want to, you might want to hold this up. Yes. We'll worry about that when we get there. But we got power, fuel should be set up, oils in it and everything. So we should be able to get some cheeks out of her. We'll see. Battery's pretty low. Not going to start cranking that slow, so we got to put a boost box on it. All right, round 2. Not happy. All right, round 3. Alright, now time to go get the computer. Okay, so I have my AEM Infinity set up here, and I'm having a bunch of issues. Well, not really, it just won't start. So I'm trying to diagnose it, and so I got connectivity to the engine, throttle control, and everything works, and it turns over, but you'll see here, it's not picking up any engine speed. So the thing's never gonna start because it has no idea that it's turning over. So I gotta go back up and hopefully I can reach it, or maybe I can get from here and make sure that the crank sensor is plugged in, which I'm 99% sure it is. And if it's bad, hopefully I can get to it in the car. If not, that's gonna be really shitty if I gotta pull the engine out. Which is funny because I was just talking about how I don't understand why they put the crank sensor on the back of the block, because on the 4.6s they're on the front, which makes sense. So that's gonna be our first demon to fight, is the crank sensor. So we'll see where we go with that. So unfortunately, didn't get the car running last night. As you can see, the engine's basically out of it. But I did find out why it doesn't have a crank sensor reading. Oh, let me get the old light out, because GoPros don't have a light on them. That's the plug for it right there, and the sensor is under there, like I told you before. Can't get it out, and I couldn't get the bolt out of there. It stripped the head out. As you can see, it's finally out. Had to do some grinding, had to use some air chisels, had to basically drop the motor 8 inches, and I have about 4 hours into that, getting that bolt out, and it was not fun. So now I gotta pull this billet piece out, because it's a real good design that you can't get this past here. So I couldn't just plug it in, and you can't really get a tool in there when the engine's way up there. So I dropped it a little bit and still couldn't get in there enough to break torque on it. Ended up stripping it out, and yeah, lots of fun. But the bolt is out finally. You can see the head is even warped on this thing from me just beating on it. Yeah, so let's see if we can pull this out. This went in pretty easy. Oh, look at that, she's out. Let me plug it in. Oh, bet you she'll start now. Look at that. That's pretty sweet right there. So yeah, don't be an idiot and forget to unplug that, or plug that in, because you'll have a hell of a time. All right, this is round 7 trillion trying to get this thing to run. Hopefully I didn't forget to hook anything up. Finally got the crank sensor plugged in, so that's good. Here we go. Oh, got oil pressure, started right up. Got a little tick to her. Let her run for a second. Revving kind of high. Oh yeah, oil. She runs. The oil burning off the engine and the headers. Oh, leaking power steering fluid real bad. Gotta shut her down. So here she is in all her glory. Obviously a lot of things that need to still get finished up. You got the safety ties on here for the radiator. She's not going anywhere anyway. This is hitting real bad right here, but I don't think it's actually kinked. So gonna have to do something about that. Yeah, I tried putting the breather setup on, and the bracket broke, so I was trying to get it in there. I was gonna just zip tie it up or something. It kept arcing off the alternator, which don't want to deal with that. So it's got no breather setup on it. Not a big deal, because I'm not going to be out destroying this thing. I just want to go drive it, make sure everything sounds good. So I'm gonna put the shifter in and we'll take her for a little rip. Finally, after I don't even know how many times, the car has the proper clutch pedal. I can shift it and it doesn't move. It actually shifts super nice, and the height is like almost level with the brake, which is pretty nice. Right there. That's awesome. I can't even tell you how excited I am that this thing actually actually works. I haven't driven it yet, but I've had this transmission out so many goddamn times, I can't even tell you how many times. I didn't even record it, so it's probably like 30, 40, maybe more times. It was bad. It was awful. But super stoked. I'm gonna go drive it. Alright guys, the thing seems to cruise really awesome. It shifts great. That's no rev match downshift. I really hope there's no other issues with it. I'm obviously gonna put it on the lift. There's some stuff that I need to wrap up still. The alignment looks like it's off. I might have shifted the K-member or something that might need to be adjusted. But it seems to drive real good. It idles now. It shifts. That's just awesome. I'm gonna go put some gas in it because it needs gas, and the gas is super old. I got like little things to wrap up, like shifter and stuff. But yeah, just real excited, and I can't wait to get this thing up to par so I can just drive it around. So words can't even describe how excited I am. I finally drove the car like 15 miles with no issues. It idled for 30 minutes. It's 100 degrees outside, didn't overheat, stayed at a good temperature, drove down the road great. I'm still having my second to third issue, but I'm gonna call around and see if I can't get some help with that. It doesn't look like it's leaking. It just like acts super tame. The tune seems like it's cleared up a little bit. I don't know. It's such a good feeling to finally be able to drive this thing again. Obviously there's still things to wrap up on it, but super excited. I'm pretty much gonna just go wash up and clean and drive this thing around because it's been so long. So I'm gonna go enjoy this thing while I can. Hopefully it doesn't break on me. But next thing, really, I gotta make some brackets, and then I gotta get the AC charged up because it's way too damn hot to drive a car in Texas without the AC charged. But yeah, just thanks for watching the whole build and everything. I'll post everything once I get, you know, the new brackets made and stuff. And of course I got the blower to go on it when I, you know, get the money to buy the injectors and everything else. But for now, I'm gonna enjoy it as is. The car probably makes 500-ish wheel, which is not anything to turn your head at, especially in a car that probably weighs 3,200 pounds. So yeah, once again, thanks. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you guys want to see anything else, let me know, and I'll try to, you know, post some more videos. I've been way too busy with this thing to really keep up to date on the videos, but I hope now that this is pretty much squared away, I can start working on that and get my YouTube up to date. So I'll be seeing you guys.